Where's the applause, goddammit? Attenzione, attenzione. This is SuperiorFandom.com.
Whoa. Nobody speaks Spanish, dude.
I thought that was French.
Stop breaking your shit.
SuperiorFandom.com. We're live at Crane's Bar at 8th and Spring, downtown Los Angeles. This is a little show called Against the Spread where we talk exclusively about betting on the NFL.
Real quick, I'm a diehard Giants fan, and last night was awesome. The Giants won their third World Series in 5 years. My friends are incredibly too drunk to listen to me talk shit right now. They're all sitting in bed and sleeping off a day. I have to say, last night was probably the funnest night I've had in downtown Los Angeles since I moved here 5 years ago. It rivals when the Lakers beat the Celtics in Game 7 of the finals in 2009. I distinctly remember being at La Cita and being lifted up a flight of stairs and my wheel falling off and getting strange from a beautiful woman in a Celtics shirt, meanwhile losing my wallet and my phone. And if anybody saw our photos from last night, I think you would find that the World Series win rivaled that time. But nobody really cares about that or the Giants, and I think if I keep talking about it, Darren's going to kick me out of the bar or lock me in a basement. Jarrett, why don't you give these people some unsolicited gambling advice so that they can lose their money? I think you're going to go over the 10 commandments of gambling. I don't want to touch how big of an oxymoron that is, but it's up to you now.
All right, so let's begin. First commandment. Number 1, never bet on your team. Anytime you bet on the team you love the most, you're just asking for trouble. There's a difference between betting and gambling. And in order to place winning bets, you need to be thinking objectively with your head, not passionately with your heart. Remember, this is not about what you want to happen. This is about what you think is actually going to happen.
A good friend of mine also once told me to actually bet against your team. Just a fun bet every week. That way, if they lose, you win money. And if they win, you're happy. And you stay psychologically level as time moves on.
Yeah, but then you're risking losing money. I don't like that.
Yeah, but I mean, fun bets. What's number 2?
Number 2. Don't not bet on a particular team just because you don't, quote-unquote, like them. Now, I've been guilty of this one numerous times. Perhaps I place a bet on a team one week and they lose or they don't cover or something, and I get spooked, maybe even lose a little confidence. Then I might hesitate to bet on them the following week, when, in fact, that may be the game that I really need to be betting on.
That happens to the best of us.
I like to refer to this as betting emotionally, and there's absolutely no place for emotion when it comes to placing bets. You must be thinking rationally, not emotionally.
3.
Number 3, this is very important. Pay attention to matchup history. Just as the movie title suggests, anything really can happen on any given Sunday. There have been numerous occasions involving matchups between undefeated teams and teams that haven't won a single game all year, and for whatever reason, because the two teams match up a particular way, the team with no wins can beat the undefeated team. Study how the teams have played each other in the past. It can be very revealing. Obviously, you should also pay attention to lineup changes, personnel changes, coaching changes, etc., which can occur between seasons, between weeks, whatever. But I've noticed that teams have tendencies, and yes, history does tend to repeat itself.
Speaking of history, I just need to go off one more time. The Giants won their third World Series in 5 years.
Oh,
the
Jesus
third
Christ,
World Series in 5 years. And on top of that, you mentioned injury history and things of that nature. Do you realize that the Giants had 4 out of their top 8 played players not play an inning in the playoffs?
No,
and they still won the World Series for the third time? I think that brings me to your 4th commandment, which has to do with injuries. Why don't you go ahead and enlighten these good folks?
Number 4, one injury can make a world of difference. Now, I am of the mindset that the offensive line is the most important element on any given team in football. Furthermore, I also happen to believe that the left tackle is the most important position on the field. An injured left tackle can be devastating to an offense's production on the scoreboard. If the quarterback is not well protected by his front line, it becomes extremely difficult for him to do his job.
The most important player on the Giants is Madison Bumgarner. That guy is superhuman. You need a microscope to see that guy's ERA in the World Series. Keep going, Jarrett.
Every time we talk about sports, a San Francisco fan's got to pull some Giants out their ass.
What's number 5? Gypsy feels bad for Paul Rudd. I'll take this opportunity to say I don't give a fuck about Paul Rudd. Commandment number 5.
Commandment number 5. Weather can absolutely affect the over-under. Case in point, the Miami Dolphins at the Pittsburgh Steelers, November 26, 2007. Whoa. The Steelers were a decent team that year.
What the fuck is that? You're talking about November 2007?
Steelers are all right that year. They ended up finishing the season 10-6 and lost in the first round of the playoffs to Jacksonville. But the Dolphins, on the other hand, were absolutely terrible. They had not won a single game all year and ended up finishing the season with one measly win that they were able to squeak out in Week 15. But anyway, I digress.
I think I was a twinkle in my dad's eye in November 2007. Carry on.
You weren't even born. But anyway, I digress. Back to the point at hand. The Dolphins traveled to Pittsburgh to play what was expected to be a blowout. However, it rained during that game in the Steel City, and it rained hard. The two teams looked like hockey players playing out without ice skates. No one could get any traction on the ground. No one could move nimbly on that field slop. No one could produce anything for either team. The final outcome, the Steelers barely eked out a win 3-0. So watch the weather. I remember that game because I bet on that. And I was
6.
Like, Number 6, just because a team wins a lot does not necessarily mean they can cover the spread. Another case in point, Peyton Manning with the Indianapolis Colts. Now, while Peyton has recently solidified his place in NFL history as a football god and will probably become...
I need to stop you one time. Are you talking about Peyton Manning or his cousin Clayton that always chokes in the big game? Carry on.
Another Giants fucking interruption.
Go ahead.
That's okay. Peyton Manning, Indianapolis Colts. He's probably going to become the first player to be inducted into the Hall of Fame while he's still active on a team's roster. No one can deny his future greatness while he played with the Colts, though.
Can you do that?
I don't know. I don't think so. But the Super Bowl winning Colts of the 2006-2007 season were phenomenal, and while they finished the regular season 12-4, which, by the way, began with a 9-game win streak during the first 10 weeks, Manning and his Colts were terrible at covering spreads. Sure, they had a great season and things looked good on paper at first glance, but placing bets on them that season would quickly get you deep into debt. So a team's win-loss record is not as important as how they perform against the spread.
You know who was good against the spread? The 1980 San Francisco 49ers. I think they lost 3 games against the spread in about 10 years. I don't know about you, but I think Eddie DeBartolo might have had those guys mobbed up.
Yeah,
Next commandment.
Yeah, that's why I like the Niners.
Next commandment.
Number 7. Avoid placing bets during the first 4 weeks of the regular season.
Nobody knows what's going on.
Now, I've been guilty of breaking this commandment, but I've done it very rarely and only during special circumstances. This is probably the loosest of these 10 rules. Obviously, you have to use your own judgment, but I've noticed that during those first 4 weeks, teams are still figuring themselves out. They tend to not be solidified as a gridiron unit just yet, and I just don't think there are enough stats to be able to make an informed betting decision by that point.
Is Darren Crane taking selfies? What the hell is he doing? Next commandment.
Number 8, watch out for those pesky half points. For instance, it's probably not the best idea to bet on a 7.5-point favorite. That game could easily be decided by 7 points, and then you're shit out of luck. Likewise, it's probably not the best idea to bet on a 6.5-point underdog because, well, you get the idea.
You kind of got burned on that in that Seattle game this week, but I don't want to bring up those terrible wounds.
Yeah.
Next.
Number 9, don't bet on games between 2 shitty teams. As my godfather would tell me, stay away from 2 dogs with different fleas. You might get infected.
Gypsy says put your money on the Patriots. I kind of am with that.
See, now she's breaking the first commandment. Never bet on your team.
Oh, yeah, shit. You're going against the commandment, now you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it works. Sorry.
You're going to get struck down.
I don't make the rules, I just abide by them.
Finally, point number 10. You don't have to place a bet on every game. I know some people who, for whatever reason, feel obligated to bet on every game every week. This, in my opinion, is simply not wise. Remember, there is a big difference between gambling and betting. Amateurs gamble, but professionals bet. You bet to win, not to play. And with that said, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Gamblers Anonymous. If you or someone you might know has a problem gambling, don't hesitate. Call the number 855-222-5542.
So, can we keep talking about the Giants?
No, I thought we were going to talk about NFL betting.
Oh.
Or you want to talk about New York Giants?
Oh, you want to talk about the football Giants?
Actually, I don't want to talk about any of the teams this week because I, for once in my life, am going to follow my own advice. I'm abiding by the 10th commandment, and I'm staying away from every game this week because I think all of the matchups suck.
That was pretty ridiculous. I did not expect that. I really didn't.
6 touchdowns on a pass.
That was crazy. That.
Considering he only threw for 2 touchdowns.
Do you want a mic?
This entire season.
Do you want a mic?
No.
You just want to keep yelling at me so I can't keep talking about the Giants, right? What are you going to do, Darren? Trap me in a basement? Oh, wait. Shit. That's too soon.
No, you can talk about the New York Giants.
No.
Go ahead.
The New York Giants, they still have a team?
Yeah.
I thought their coach, Tom Coughlin, died like 2 years ago. No, he didn't?
They lost, man.
I don't know. The Giants won 3 World Series in 5 years.
Yeah,
Jarrett's
yeah,
giving
yeah.
you plenty of unsolicited gambling advice.
So go out there and lose your money next week. Actually, don't make any bets this week. Bad idea. Stay
Hell yeah.
away from all the games. They all suck.
We will see you guys next week, and if you care to listen to us anymore, we also do a show Wednesday afternoons at the Down and Out. $4 tequila shots for those of you that like to get day drunk.
To get tequila.
And fuck yeah, I think that's all we got.
Fucking A. Thanks a lot, guys.
SuperiorFandom.com.